Hi friends, thanks so much for being here. I'm Anna Helman. Welcome to another one of my Let's Make a Big Batch of Cards in a Short Amount of Time videos. I love to share these with you. I know that you love the tips and tricks that I share in them, and I work in a lot of different tips and tricks to the different videos when we're making different projects. In this one today, I'm going to share a trick for making tags, greeting tags, in a flash. If you haven't seen this trick before, you are going to love it. It is life-changing. So I hope you'll stick around, and then at the end, we'll talk about life. I will try to offer something encouraging to you today, so I hope you will still be here at the end. Let's get started. We are making 8 cards today, and even though they are quick and simple cards, they do have die cutting and embossing on them. So I'm going to share some tricks with you for doing these things quickly and easily. Now, here are the greeting tags we are going to be using. This is from a set I'll show you in a second, but I want to go ahead and cut these out. I do have 2 pieces of vanilla cardstock laying on my platform here. With these dies, I often cut my die cuts 2 cardstock thick. Now, these, normally I would not cut too thick because they have some detail cuts on them. But we just did it. Normally I only run things through my machine one direction because it cuts amazingly well and I love it and I don't have to run things back through. But because I'm doing these too thick, I thought I would run it backwards. And let's see how these turned out. So we have our top layer, and had a feeling that was totally going to work. We have our back layer as well. So there is a trick for cutting die cuts quickly is 1, use multiple dies at the same time. All of your cards do not have to have the same tag on them. They can have different tags. This one has a little bit of detail on it. I may need to remove those pieces, or looks like they stayed in this one. I may just leave them there. And the last one. Now let's move on to our embossing for a couple of ideas for ways to do your embossing quickly as well. And here is one idea. Giant embossing folders the size of the platform of your machine. I love this. This one is called birch wood. I think you're going to love to see these cards when I get them all done. I can't wait as well because, you know, I haven't seen them done either. I don't, fun fact, I don't make a lot of my projects ahead of time. We make them on screen and we get to see the results together. Okay, so I had 2 pieces of cardstock in there. With a lot of my embossing folders, I can get 2 pieces to go through. Now, if you ever try and put a couple of pieces of cardstock and run it through and it doesn't want to go, do not force it. Do not break your machine. I broke my machine once. It was a really sad day. I do not want you to experience that sad day. Okay, so get my machine out of the way here and we are going to move on to our stamping. Let's do our, nah, am I allowed to change my mind? Okay, let's finish these emboss pieces. And what we're going to do is, birchwood is going to be so much neater if we add some color to it, right? Like those raised areas, they need to be a little bit darker. They don't really need to be. This would be beautiful by itself. But we're going to make them because I want to. And when you're the queen or king of your craft space, you get to do what you want. So here we go. Okay. I am blending very lightly now, especially because I'm using early espresso ink. I'm using very vanilla cardstock, and I swirl to pick up some of that color. Put it on the scrap paper. Now, if you get a big blob of ink right here, I would encourage you to keep removing some more of that before you go onto your cardstock. This is working really well. I'm not ending up with blobs of ink anywhere. Now let's do this one. Now, when you emboss 2 pieces of there, I'm getting a little bit of, can I make blobbage a word? Can I say that? Get a little bit of blobbage right there. Okay. All right. So what was I saying? I don't know. Okay. When you emboss, I remember when you emboss 2 layers of cardstock at one time, the one will be a little bit less defined. The one that was on the bottom will be a little bit less defined. If you're okay with that, I'm okay with that for whatever that's worth, if you want my opinion. I'm usually okay with it. I don't think you would ever notice unless you're comparing the 2 pieces, and no one that you give one of these to is going to be comparing them. So here are those pieces. Isn't that lovely? Now what we're going to do, because it saves time, okay, we're of course not going to put a whole one of these onto a card. These, when I started, measured 5.5 inches by 8. Now I am going to cut them down into 2-inch strips. So I have just lined this up at 6 inches. I have both of them on here. I'm cutting through both layers at one time. Do get a lot of questions about the lines on my trimmer. I put those on there to make it easier to cut card bases and card mats. If you want details on that, I'm going to have a link in my video description below to that video where I explain all about that. There will also be links to all the products I'm using down there as well if you want to take a look at any of them. Okay, we have our embossed pieces ready. Next, let's do our stamping. We love to stamp. And then next, oh, friends, the trick that is just amazing is coming up next. So you are going to want to see it. I do this a lot of times if I'm stamping a lot of pieces. I set them all out, and here's my ink. Now here are the stamps we're going to use for this card. This is a set called Yuletide Village. I like that you can use, it has these lovely buildings, and then we can use some extra little pieces to make scenes. I wanted to make a very quick scene that I can stamp one time and not have to be stamping trees or snowflakes or whatever multiple times. So here's what I did. I got the church and the tree. Now, if you're a stamper, you know your stamps have these extra little, that like extra little lip of, this is photopolymer is the material, of that around the edge. It doesn't stamp, it's just like from the mold when they made it. It's extra right there. But because of that, you cannot put 2 stamps together and make them look like they're overlapping. So here's what I did. I used my snips. I love these scissors. They're the best. If you need some good scissors, these are great and they're inexpensive. So I cut that little lip off so that I could put these 2 stamps right beside each other and make them look connected and not have to stamp multiple times. Because if my tree was just like floating out there in the middle somewhere, just wouldn't have the same effect as if they basically look connected. So we made them look connected. We are going to stamp 8 of these. It is just great when you can stamp one time and be done. Now, if you have a stamping platform, this would be perfect to line up on there. That way, if you mess anything up, you can stamp it again, try a second time. 3 more to go here. Now for my trick that I'm showing you next, we are using a stamping platform. And you do have to have one if you're going to do this trick. So keep that in mind. If you don't have one, you can keep making your tags the old-fashioned way. If you do have one, this is amazing. So here is what we are going to use. We are using the Christmas Labels bundle. So the dies I used a few minutes ago, these come in the die set and they coordinate with these stamps. And you're going to see here in a minute how fantastic this is. But let me show you what I've already done. I lined this up before we started. I took a piece of this red cardstock. It measures 6 1/4 by 7 1/4. And I was barely able to get that 6 1/4 inch side through my die cutting machine. I ran it through once to cut these 4 tags, and then I ran it through a second time to cut the second set. The stamp set includes multiple stamps that coordinate with each tag. So what I did next, if you want to do this, so I put a piece of paper down in the base of my platform. I taped this red piece on top, the template, taped it in place, and then I started laying my stamps. I actually brought in those tags, the extra ones that I had cut. I brought them in. I laid them right here so I could see exactly what I needed to with the detail and everything. And I started laying my stamps on the same way that they would stamp, with the detail side down and the flat side up. After I had one or a few laying there, I rotate this over, it picks it up. After I had all of them on here, I inked them up. I stamped one time to make sure they're all in the space I want them to be, and they were, and they're ready to go. So this takes a few minutes to prepare, but once you have it ready, you can make so many tags in a short amount of time. Now, it's been a little while since I've shared my tag box. I had not planned on doing this, but that's all right. We can do some impromptu ideas. So if you set something up like this, you could do this with all different stamps, like birthday tags and thinking of you and sympathy, whatever you want to make your tags for. And then this is a fishing tackle box that has removable little dividers, so you can change the sizes up for different sizes of tags. But this is the best. I have a birthday section, congratulations, love, I think, thinking of you, or I think that's encouragement, just because we have all different sections here. So then when you're making a card and maybe you're on a time crunch, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time making a tag, you can pull one out and have it all ready. Okay, so what you're going to do when you're ready to use this, you fill each spot with your tags. We are just going to do this one time since we are making 8 cards and we have 8 tags here. But you can stamp and make tags galore. I hear from some of you who send out lots of Christmas cards or lots of Easter cards, whatever it is, and you can do lots of these at one time. So my stamps are new. I should have cleaned them really well to get that residue off, but I didn't. So hopefully we get a good stamp here. I do try to give it a good press in each spot. I don't want to press too hard, but I want to press firmly in each spot. So, okay, some of them stayed stuck. Now I do need to be careful lifting to make sure I don't smudge it. But there is Believe. Peace on Earth. I like this for a lot of reasons, actually, but one of them is this way you get unique cards that are different. It's nice to send people individualized cards, not that you have to spend forever changing up every card, but this way you have lots of different options and different greetings for different people. So isn't that pretty cool? I hope you like that. Now we are ready to start assembling. I already folded my card bases, but I did not use my bone folder to crease them because I wanted to show you this. I show this in pretty much all of my mass producing videos, but after they're like this, I had a good friend, thank you Barb for sharing, telling me she just uses her fingers and squeezes and runs it along there, and they're pretty good. But if you want to make sure they're really flat, just run your bone folder over that whole stack and they are perfectly flat and ready to go. So the first thing I want to do is I want to give you an idea of where we're headed with these and make sure I know where I am putting all the pieces. So I'm planning on putting that lovely birch piece right there, and then the church here, and we'll add our tags up here. So what I will do first, I always lay my pieces out all together. I can put all my adhesive on at the same time. And you can play around with whether you think glue is faster or tape is faster. Sometimes I feel like glue is, sometimes I feel like tape is. I could be convinced either way, but as you'll notice, this I find really quick and easy for me is to lay them out side by side and then run tape down the side from one to the next one, finish the one, start on the next one, and this goes really quickly this way. You do have to be careful not to bump them into each other and glue them together. But we'll put this on each card. Normally I spread out a little bit more, but I'm trying to do this so you can see what I'm doing. So we'll put these pieces on. Next we will do the same thing with those churches. I think what I'll do while I am assembling is I have a card to show you. I'll bring it on screen and then I'll just talk about it while I assemble. So I have a whole collection of these right here. I have a team of people who sign up and want to do this with me. Most of my team signs up mainly just to get a discount on their products, which is awesome. Some of them do videos and classes and fun stuff like I do. So every time we have a new catalog come out, we do a card swap. So when our holiday catalog came out during the pre-order month, since we're able to get products a month sooner than anybody else, we ordered the products ahead of time and create a card with the new products that we can share with everybody else. So however many people are participating in the swap, we make that many cards and send them to our group organizer. Thank you, Tracy. And she splits them up and sends them back, and we get one of each card back. So right now, while I'm recording this, I don't have all of them. They're supposed to be coming here. They might actually be in my mailbox. Now that I think about it, they probably are. And when they come, I think it is my favorite day of mail, like out of that period of 4 months. It is even better than when my new stamps arrive. Yes, it is. Because I get to see what everybody else created, which is really exciting for me. So this was the card I created. I created it with the stamp set, as you can see. I stamped the image with that was wrong. With StazOn ink. And then I used my water painters to add the color to the church and the trees. So anytime you're using water, you need to use that StazOn ink. And I just kind of loved how they turned out. I thought they turned out really pretty. I put that red glimmer paper in the background. If you're wondering, I just used little strips of that red glimmer paper. You could put it behind that whole thing, but that would use a lot more glimmer paper. The strips I used are just a ½ inch wide, and you can't see that back there. So we'll get these on, and then let's add our tags. And the tags, they have so much detail. They are just really going to complete these cards. So I'll show this to you quickly up close before we move on. And let's bring our tags in. We will put dimensionals on the backs of all of these. Dimensionals definitely take more time. But if you're creating simple cards and you want to add a little bit something extra, they are a great way to do that. So we'll do this here quickly. I guess since I was talking about it, so anyone is welcome to join my team if you're interested. Like I said, most people join just to get a discount on their products. There are some fun benefits besides the discount, like you get to order early, you get to see the new catalogs early. I do the monthly craft nights that my whole team is welcome to join in with. There are all kinds of exclusive demonstrator groups online that you can join in with, get bonus ideas, talk to other demonstrators about fun crafty things or business things if that's something you're interested in. For anybody who is interested in doing classes in business, I have a team training site of lots of past training videos that you have access to, and we have a group where we all talk to each other and share card projects and fun things. Okay, so this is my take your pick tool I have been using to place those dimensionals in place, and then now I'm using it to remove the paper backing off of the back. If you have problems with your fingers, this is fantastic. One more, and now we get the fun part. We get to see all of these come together. So this tag is the biggest one. I tried to place my churches down far enough that there would be plenty of space for this tag. Isn't that pretty with that tag? I am going to use these tags so many times in so many ways, I can tell. Be merry. Winter wishes. This is the one. I could have popped those pieces out, but they seem pretty happy where they're at, so I am going to leave them. Celebrate the holidays in all the ways. I love this tag. Isn't that pretty? I love that they have that detail. Peace on earth. Merry Christmas to you. Warm and cozy. So here's what we created, friends. I'll show them to you quickly before I flip my camera around and we will chat. So here's today's topic. How can you use your weaknesses to encourage others? What do I mean by that? I feel like the easiest way for me to illustrate this is, have you ever seen someone on TV or making a YouTube video or somewhere like that recorded, and maybe they have a really hard time speaking, or maybe they're making a card making video and their hands shake really bad, or they have like a huge birthmark somewhere, something like that, like something that somebody probably has a hard time with. And there they are, killing it, doing whatever they're doing anyway, regardless of whether they have a hard time speaking or whatever else. Like, if I see someone like that, I know somebody who's blind. You watch my videos, and you have a YouTube channel, and you make music, and you share cool stuff. Like, that is awesome, and I love that. And so think about the things that you're self-conscious about, and maybe over the next few days or the next week or couple of weeks, these things, maybe they will pop into your mind as you think about them. As far as my weaknesses, this isn't exactly a weakness, but I have always very much disliked my voice. I don't particularly like my hands. What do you see and hear from me in all my videos? My voice and my hands. Yeah. So thank you for watching along despite what I have been given. But with me talking about life and trying to encourage people at the end of my videos now, like, I do not feel equipped to do this. Apparently I have a lot of words to say, so I'm not exactly going to claim that this is a weakness of mine. It's not really something I feel overly comfortable doing. It's not really something I wanted to do, but here I am. What can you do despite the things that you struggle with or you don't like about yourself or you have a hard time with? What can you do to show the world that you're awesome and you're not going to let those things hold you back? Because when you do that, you are going to encourage other people to do the same. It's not about us and whatever's wrong with us. Like, I have bags under my eyes and wrinkles and whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. That's not what you see when you watch my videos, right? It might be what I see sometimes when I look in the mirror, but it doesn't matter. It's about sharing ourselves with the world and being there and encouraging people. I'm trying to do that. You can do it too, friends. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you will be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to handmake with love.